vote of no confidence was directly a result of the American intervention. It was very clear that Prime Minister Imran Khan was targeted. We are hoping to get at least a two-third majority so that we can form a proper government. Well, let me put it this way. There were discussions amongst the leadership of the party and in a wider circle than the very small group that normally is there. And everybody agreed that the vote of no confidence was directly a result of the American intervention, and the official meeting that was held in Washington DC with that Mr. Liu and our ambassador and 3 other members of our mission and 1 other gentleman accompanying Mr. Liu. And there were note takers on both sides, and in that meeting it was made clear that if the vote of no confidence succeeds, all will be forgiven, is the word that was used. Otherwise, if PMIK remained in power, then there would be consequences, etc., etc. It was very clear that Prime Minister Imran Khan was targeted, and the minutes of that meeting were sent on the 7th of March. No confidence had not been deposited till the 8th. So there is a link between the two that is irrevocable. When the party realized that there is a direct international intrusion and international attempt at regime change through the no confidence vote, everybody supported the idea that we should raise this and question the legality and the validity of the motion itself. How it would be done, when it would be done, was left to the leadership, because this is something that was to be treated confidentially because of leakages that happened. And I think that the surprise that was given to the opposition showed that we were able to do what we wanted to do effectively. I think the decision to dissolve the assemblies was decided because we didn't want to show that we wanted to hold on to power. There was no question of that. So because the PM could not ask for dissolution of the assemblies once the motion had been tabled, so therefore they had to wait. But if you see the sequence and rapidity of the sequencing, it was a decision that the party had agreed to, that we would go to the people. And the interesting thing is the opposition has been crying hoarse for donkey's years. I mean, for the last year that the PTI and the Prime Minister have lost the support of the people, blah, blah, blah. So why are they scared now to go into elections? We, as a party, as a government, decided to ask for the dissolution and ask for elections. Why is the opposition hesitant? That's a question one needs to ask, really. We will wait to see what the verdict is. We think the law is definitely on our side. So let's wait and see. It's not going to be a long wait from now. We have to then see what the options are. But there are a number of other legal options also. Even if we had not gone the route that we did, we had a number of options in our hand. And our party was very clear on that. So it's not that we had no other choice. We had many choices. I have seen the minutes of the cabinet meeting where it was discussed. I was in the NSC, so whatever was shared in the NSC, I am privy to. And let me tell you, the language used is worse than what has been given out publicly. And I, in fact, would be very happy if the Supreme Court asked to see the actual document and the minutes in camera, because then the Supreme Court would realize very much, very clearly, that this is a clear attempt to remove Prime Minister Imran Khan, which effectively means regime change, and is directly linked to the motion on the vote of no confidence. I think the general sense you have gotten in the official press release of the NSC that has come out, and that clearly is the position of everybody who was there in the National Security Committee meeting. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you look at the number of meetings that the US consulates and the embassy here have had with dissident PTI members, why would they visit them? The argument is, of course, they visit political heads of parties, fair enough, but it's the frequency suddenly of those meetings that comes into question. If you look at the meetings of Hussain Haqqani with Nawaz in London, so there are linkages all around. And my own hunch is, as time goes by and more information comes out in the open, the extent of the conspiracy between the US and their local collaborators in Pakistan will become even more evident. I can't say more than that at the moment. It was one of the names floated. We felt that instead of a politically linked person, there should be a retired judge of the Supreme Court, and this was a decision that was taken collectively, and the Prime Minister approved of this decision. This Reuters story is doing the rounds in WhatsApp, and I responded to it by saying, are we to now believe Reuters and not our Prime Minister and not our NSC? That is a question that Pakistanis have to answer, that there is a NSC press release, official. The Prime Minister has repeatedly given a particular viewpoint, and we still want to believe a foreign news agency. If that is the case, then we really are still in a slavish mindset. I think one of the things which has been definitively realized is that it is better not to form a government which is a coalition government. Tickets should only be given to party loyalists, and I think also that with the allies you have to have some clear red lines. We are hoping to get at least a 2/3 majority so that we can form a proper government without having to rely on electables and allies and so on. But let's see how the people decide.